Thank you very much. May I just, before I start, a very, very brief presentation, ask you to fasten your seat belts. I'll be going through this very, very quickly. Number one, Chris, on behalf of the entire Africa and I think the global society, I want to thank you once more. Colleagues, I doubt that anybody has any idea as to how much work has gone into this, into how much dedication. You can send Chris an email at 3 o'clock in the morning. 5 minutes later, you'll get your reply. I wish I could elaborate more. I wish I had the time. Chris, you deserve a huge round of applause. Thank you so much. Secondly, Professor Pierre de Villiers. Prof. Pierre, where are you in the hall? Could I ask Prof, could you please just stand up, Prof. de Villiers? Thank you so much. Thank you. Prof. de Villiers has been instrumental in helping us get the African Journal of Career Development off the ground. And please will you also thank your stellar team on their emotionally, socially intelligent support all the way for over so many years. Pierre, I am really, really most impressed and humbled and grateful. Thanks very much. So, hearty welcome to everybody. If I've left out good morning in your mother tongue, put it on a piece of paper. My mother has left this planet a few years ago, but she will return. She's promised me if I don't thank people appropriately and welcome them. Just a very brief overview of my presentation. It's going to take very, very little time to go through this. You now know what the African Journal of Career Development is about. You are aware that we published our first article. And could I maybe just ask Dr. Nicola Taylor and Chris to stand up, please. History they've made, so thank you so much. The very first article ever went through stringent peer review. I can tell you it's a superb manuscript. We thank you for that. So you can read as well as I do. I'm going to take you through a brief photo montage. I enjoy and I love and I prefer working out there in communities. Spent last weekend in QUALITATIVE. It gets very cold in the bush, Chris. I never realized that until I got to QUALITATIVE. Limpopo, I tell you what, gets very, very freezy as well, and I now know that. So what kinds of manuscripts are we looking for? And we hope you will inundate us with your manuscripts. Can I just go back? Action research, that's what we all do all the time. We learn from our mistakes as we go along. And the next slide there, colleagues, we learn, like I said, as we go along. Oftentimes what we do is done in uncontrolled conditions. This is the kind of environment in which 99% of myself find myself, like the majority of you. Stories of communities collaborating. We want case studies. I don't have the time to talk about the early recollections technique, but see if it works in Africa. And I'm pretty sure you're going to hear Mark and Maree talk to this matter as well. Chris talked to it. The minister talked to it. Anthony purposefully referred to African research, what works in global South contexts. Think pieces. We want to hear what your thoughts are. How do we enhance career adaptability? How do we enhance employability? Ladies and gentlemen, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There is magic, gold dust, stardust out there. Let's just go find best practice that is already occurring and build on best practice. And don't let's ever go there trying to teach people. The little that I know, I've learned from our communities. So go there. They think I'm there to help them. No, they help me. They help me learn, understand what works and what doesn't work. Wish I had this story to tell Dr. Masehela. Couldn't enroll at our university. Professor Jonathan Jansen, I salute him, helped me get her on board, and there she was standing 5 years later, achieving a doctoral degree. Where there is a will, my mother taught me, you complete the sentence. Manuscripts that talk to the need for changing the language of our discourse. Now, please, can I plead with you? The days of negative language are done, are over. I don't want to talk about right or wrong careers. There is no such a thing. Appropriate, inappropriate. You know all these terms as well as I do. The most recent one, when next your client spells work, W-I-R-K, she or he is actually very smart. So help us innovate, renovate, update the language of our vocabulary. How about that? I think this is a clear instance of pivoting. How about that pre-primary school being converted over time, built on many successes, into a hair salon? If that isn't beautiful, really, I don't know what the word means. How can career development be used to promote decent work for all global South countries? Do I need to talk to this slide? Of course I don't. Theory and practice-based stuff. There are some of the instruments that I've developed, and I'm proud to say that I've developed instruments in Africa, for Africa, built on best practice abroad, but developed in South Africa. And so many of my colleagues are doing likewise. This, I wish I could share with everybody. I will share it. This is the kind of thing that every one of my students has to do these days. Talk to their identity statement, power statement if they wish, their careers, their personal mission statement, and their vision statement. And I had a discussion, I think, with Chris and Prof. Pillay just prior to this. I have an idea that we should just throw away the IQ and the aptitude tests. Focus on what their narratives tell us. Wish I could take you through 220 narratives like these, and then you see the correlation between people that are in the legion of Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, after having scored lowly on aptitude tests. That's a matter for a different day, and I know it's a debatable thing. So how do we exploit the potential of life design based? And life design, we can talk about that many days. International colleagues often say, what is the way in which you apply life design similar to how we apply life design abroad? Well, it's not a question to me. We contextualize, decode, recontextualize it, and see if it works in our context. How can individuals manage their careers to maximize their chances of accessing decent work? Now, everybody talks to the notion of decent work these days. Tell you what, just go to our communities and see what they already do and report on that. If this isn't beautiful, again, I really don't know what the word means. What can individual people and civil society do to promote decent work for all? There's so much we can do. There is so much that is already being done. Send us your manuscripts on best practice, please. Jonathan Jansen, I think the minister talked to the very same matter. Jan talked to this matter. Everybody, and I'm sure other colleagues are going to talk about that. It's your job and my job. And the career development practitioners over here, I'm working with some of them. I tell you what, our future is in very, very, very good hands. What can the public sector do? You and I have been working with the public sector. There is so much they are doing, and there's a lot that they still can do. Can I just go back? That little slide, as you said, on your right-hand side. Isn't that just magic? Doesn't it just humble you to try to understand what is going on in our communities? And there you see, courtesy of the efforts of the public sector, a dilapidated school, phase 1, phase 2, and there you see phase 3. These things can be done. Let's just do it in the famous words of you know who. So how can career development be promoted across different education levels? Sadly, heartbreakingly, blame me if you wish, I often stumble upon this kind of phenomenon. I stumble upon teachers that are angry, upset, demotivated. That has to change. Report on that matter and fill us with hope and inspiration, please. I'm almost done. The potential roles of NGOs and NPOs, massive, massive, massive role. Good Work Foundation, one instance, the magic work that they do, go there, support them, donate, please. This is from their website, something that's very close to my heart. Their idea of bringing Amazon to our shores, helping people to write their stories, inspire others, to inspire more people. Well, that is just magic again from my book. What can the private sector do? There's so much we can do. And I'm going to say something here. Everybody complains about money. You know what? You know what? There's a lot of money for many things. I think we just need to rechannel the money to where the needs are the greatest. That's my gist on the story. Courtesy, momentum, thank you for that. Which economic systems are most suited to promote decent work for all? Now, again, I don't know. Report on your research. Help us move the science forward. Now, I'm done. 30 seconds. I want you to respond to this question. What do you see on the next slide? You're looking at the far large community 30 years ago. One person stood up one morning, decided to change from lucerne and whatever to pecan nuts, and now everybody has followed suit. And it's becoming a very affluent society where many people are employed. There's another one. This is what we call a copy. Jan, Maree, we call this a copy in South Africa. One person drove past that little copy, and 10 years later, there you see the little copy that now employs 2,000 people that would have been unemployed. That is magic. That's the spirit that we want. In conclusion, this is a major concern of mine. Report on this matter, please. Africa is losing its talent. I tell you what. I think I've consulted 80,000 people in my life, and the most disconcerting trend these days, people steal our potential. People lure our brightest talent away. We have abundant material, but they're being lured away for reasons that break my heart. And I will not budge on that one. Very dear friend of mine, Ruben Baron, says, how many people are we losing on a daily basis? Ladies and gentlemen, that is very, very worrying. My son the other day asked me, but aren't there many Nelson Mandelas? Is there not another Nelson Mandela? There are many. Let's just give them the opportunity to blossom. Please, so everybody can walk with this kind of T-shirt, I love my job. And charity starts at home. I do it, you do it, and everybody do it. Now, thank you, everybody. All the very best. Enjoy this beautiful conference.